Hello, folks. I'm interviewing that dude today. He's my brother. And, should we start it off?
Let's do it.
Alright, well, first of all, I'm going to call you something in the title. I'm going to say, vegan interviews such and such or whatever. What should I call you?
Like a nickname?
Sure, or anything. Vegan interviews, another vegan. Vegan interviews, the best guy in the world.
Jim.
Jim? Really? Jim?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not going to put Jim. Alright, so,
He's dead, Jim.
this is another vegan bro. And so you've made changes in your life lately.
I have.
And I'll give this to you. I'll ask, what sort of changes have you made? I'll just hold it. That way I feel like an interviewer.
Okay. Oh. Well, I changed my diet from a meat-eating diet to a vegan diet. Do you want me to be more specific? Or is that like
sure,
a
yeah,
top-level thing?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically that. Trying to think of what else to say.
See, I have inside knowledge. I know that you actually did more than that. Because you didn't just give up meat.
Oh, right. Well, did I say vegan? Well, if I haven't...
I think you said meat eating.
Okay, I guess if I didn't say vegan, I changed to a vegan diet, which is abstaining from eating meat, dairy, and eggs. So I did those three.
Why'd you do that?
I did that because I watched a particular video that was actually a PowerPoint presentation that showed on a very top level basic way the cruelty that goes on involving the animals that create these products.
What do you mean by cruelty? Like, what did it show?
Well, I didn't actually know until I watched the video. I actually don't know if it was that video that told me, but it led me to learn it, if it wasn't that video, that cows have to be like repeatedly impregnated so that they produce milk.
Yeah, that was that one.
I honestly thought that they just produced milk all the time, and I'm not really sure why I thought that, but I thought it was like a chicken situation where, you know, you just harvest what they always produce, but that's not the case.
Right. Is there anything else?
Well,
I assume it showed more than just cows and milk, right?
It did show the chickens. So it showed. It talked about how a lot of places that sell food and they try to be organic. They advertise free-range chickens, and then as they were talking about that, they're like, so these places say that they have free-range chickens, but this is actually what free-range means. And they showed these giant warehouses with chickens in them, and they were not all individually caged, but they were still stuck in a room with a bunch of other chickens. They just weren't caged, as far as I remember. I don't think they were caged.
No, they weren't caged. So what about the room was weird, I guess?
Well, it was unsanitary, and they didn't really have much room to move around. Also, they cut their beaks so that they wouldn't peck each other. Like, once I learned, and chickens are the number one most affected animal for cruelty, or like that as far as volume.
Two actually. Fish are first.
Oh,
but
fish are
then
first.
As far as land animals, yeah, chickens.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if it was chickens or pigs, because I know pigs probably would come into a close second.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, definitely land animals. They're the biggest ones affected, and I would assume that's probably because you have to kill more to get more meat, which is not great. So
I want to come back to the cow thing, because you said that they don't always produce milk; they have to be pregnant. So that it is a neat fact. But what about, was there cruelty involved, or because that
there was cruelty involved because their calf gets taken away? I forgot to mention that part. Yeah. I don't know if this happens all the time, but oftentimes the calf gets taken away right after, because they're pregnant, so they have to give birth so that they can start the cycle again. And oftentimes they don't, or maybe all the time, the calf doesn't get to stick around with the mom. They get taken away to either be raised as another dairy cow or as a bull for meat, depending on what gender they are.
Yeah, veal.
Yeah. Or just, used as veal, I guess. That didn't really occur to me.
Yeah, they don't tend to be raised as bulls. I'm sure some do, because you need bull semen in the world to produce more cows, but
Yeah.
Most of them get raised up into a few months old, and then if they're males, they're slaughtered for veal.
So the ones that don't, the ones that do get raised as dairy cows and bulls are not the ones that are produced from making the cows pregnant, like oftentimes. Or I'm wondering where they source those cows then.
Sorry, say that again. I was distracted.
It's okay. I'm wondering where they source the cows for the dairy cows and the meat cows. If oftentimes the calves that get taken away get turned into veal.
Well, the male calves get taken away, but the female calves they get added to the
Dairy cow stock.
Yeah, they get added to the dairy cow stock, and so that's how you keep having more dairy cows.
Today I learned something. Okay, interesting.
Okay, so you watched an interesting video. Anything else about the video that struck out? Or stood out, I guess.
I think it was the milk options, because it introduced me. I already knew of a couple of different milks, like almond milk and soy milk, but I guess it kind of reminded me that those are available, and the thing that stood out was the fact that it's actually overall healthier to drink the alternative milks, because they have, I think the almond milk that I buy has twice the amount of calcium as whole milk does, and it doesn't have any cholesterol, which is a big deal if you drink a lot of milk like I do, almond milk. I used to drink a lot of regular milk, cow milk, and so I just replaced it with almond milk, and I've actually have come to appreciate almonds. This is off on a tangent a bit, but I have come to appreciate the flavor of almonds in general more because of it. That's just a personal, pleasant discovery of mine.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff out there. So, I guess, have you liked the change? Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like the change quite a bit, actually.
I guess, have you... How has it really impacted your daily life, I guess?
I think the biggest thing is that it actually is not the change in my diet. The biggest thing that is constantly that I'm constantly reminded of is how many things are animal products, and how often people get animal products without thinking about it. It's just how prevalent, how pervasive animal products are in pretty much every food. Like, the one facet of it is that if I go to the store and I look for food, so many things that you wouldn't even expect have milk in them as one of the main ingredients. Milk or eggs, but especially milk. Like, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but
soups for me was the main thing.
Yeah, soups.
You can't find a generic soup anywhere that doesn't have either milk or eggs.
Right. A lot of snack foods, because I eat a lot of snack type foods, like crackers and chips and stuff, and a lot of those have milk in there too, with flavors that you wouldn't even expect to be milk. But the second facet of it was, I guess, just how often meat is used in dishes where it doesn't seem like meat is really necessary, and just how prevalent it is, period. Like, just in lots and lots of meals.
For me, I think it's the same, but cheese. I've become very aware of just how many things we put cheese on, and
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't taste cheese when it's mixed into a lot of things. I know other people can, but I just found that interesting that you become more aware of just how many things we put cheese and meat on.
Yeah, I guess that's another one I forgot to mention was cheese. It's a good point.
Okay. Do you foresee any other changes in your future, or do you think you're good where you're at, or?
Well, the one change that is not going to happen is I'm not going to go back to eating meat. So I'll definitely be sticking with this diet because I've been doing well with it. And I think one change that I would like to do is to maybe eat more healthy vegan alternatives, because even though things can be vegan, they're not necessarily the most healthy. And so I guess that I could do that change, maybe go towards the route of more vegetables and less direct alternatives, because those also tend to be more expensive, like meat alternatives and cheese and mayo and stuff. But another one is I'd like to do more activism in the form of what I've started with is leaving these little chicken head guards, as you have seen Isaac here.
You guys have seen the chicken heads. If not, go find him on the channel.
Yeah, he's inspired me to go put around the chicken heads, like in the mall and on the bus and just wherever I end up going. And so I want to keep doing that, and hopefully that will lead me into more other forms of activism, other forms of friendly activism that try and get the most public attention as possible, without I'm not sure if I'm to the point where I want to directly confront people yet, but it'll get me more comfortable with the idea of activism. It's a good entryway.
See, I tricked you because you're doing it right now.
Good point. I'm doing it right now. This is gonna
look at that.
We'll see. This is getting really meta. My brain.
So, do you have any regrets about this, or how has this affected you mentally? Because you make it sound like everyday life is pretty easy. It sounds like, or does it affect? How about like friends and family, or are there any emotional struggles you've hit or anything?
Yeah, I think so. The main thing is the main thing that saddens me a bit is I wish people, like family members and but strangers alike, I wish all of them would think about, I don't know, the disconnect between what people see on their plate and the fact that that was a living animal at some point is one that I wish people were quicker to embrace or not embrace the disconnect, sorry. I wish they would be quicker to want to remove that disconnect rather than choose to ignore the fact that they don't the fact that there shouldn't really be a disconnect between what's on the plate. Like it's kind of hard to word. I wish people would be more shocked at what's going on and would at least want to learn more about things. Maybe not make a change quicker, but would be more interested in what's going on in general rather than be passive about it. Like, especially people that get just a little bit of discovery, like they hear just a one tidbit, like the fact that dairy cows don't get to keep their calves, or the fact that they have to be constantly impregnated in the first place. That was a big one for me.
I think one of the biggest things for me was the beaks. That was my latching point. Where like, oh, what am I watching? And then I looked at stuff.
Yeah. Was that like your first thing that really got you?
Oh yeah, that one, and I think the grinding up the baby chicks was another big one.
That was a big one for me, and I still have trouble watching or reading anything about that subject because it's so in your face, and like it's a very gruesome footage, and it's how you would imagine. It's not a fun sight because you see these cute little animals and like they're not, after a couple more seconds they're not the same, and that's a little hard for me.
Well, I didn't really prepare any formal questions, but we hit a fair amount of things. Is there anything you would like to talk about?
I don't know if there's anything off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Are there any like specifically Daniel unique thoughts you think you could offer to the world that we'll only hear from your perspective?
I don't know if you only hear this from my perspective, but I think my message to people, I think, a very high level basic message would be more open to change, be more welcoming of diet changes and culture changes, because we're not going to be at the rate that we're using these animals and we have to feed them to feed us. Like, we could easily be cutting out this middleman and just be eating what we're feeding them, basically. So be more open to change, because we're not going to be able to sustain the human population forever with these animals. So if you choose to keep eating them, just keep that in mind, that if you like this lifestyle, it's not going to last that much longer. So whether you like, veganism changes or not, and the fact that it's a growing movement, you can obviously do what you want to. No one can forcibly stop you, but just keep that in mind, that there is a reason that, well, there are lots of reasons to change what you're eating, but it's definitely a big reason to keep in mind that oftentimes I don't think people consider, is that it's also just not very sustainable.
Yeah, the world's not getting smaller.
So I guess I think I went off on a bit of a tangent again, but I just keep an open mind. Be willing to try new things. You only get so much time on this earth, so try it out. We're like on the frontier of creating new options for people for vegan foods to eat. So it's exciting. I think it's fun to try out these things. Even if I wasn't vegan, once I learned about how many food options there were available, as well as just the fact that vegetables are good. I mean, the ones that have been around forever. Both of those together, like, you've got infinite possibilities. We just have to catch up with technology, and we'll be able to create so many different things. We're right on the verge with meat. I just ate a burger the other day that was made of pea protein, and I think it tasted exactly like beef. It blew my mind.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell a difference.
It was pretty amazing, and
you did remind me of something. Hope I don't interrupt too much.
That's fine.
That sometimes people don't even know what vegan means.
Oh, right.
Like I always thought, before I knew anything about it at all, I always thought it was some fad diet that was just gonna go away in a week. It was just about health. I thought it was kind of like paleo diet or something like that.
It definitely gets a bad rap.
And so before I knew anything about it, I was one of those people that kind of scoffed and wrote it off. Do you have any thoughts about any of that? I want to get that on camera in case anyone out there is watching this and they don't know. It's primarily about ethics.
Yeah, it's the fact that animals are just unfairly treated. Whether people agree that it's okay to kill an animal is a different question, and people have different thoughts about that. But regardless of whether that has a definite answer that everyone can agree with, the cruelty that is involved and just the carelessness of how much pain you're causing them before they even become a meal is ridiculous. And like, their lives are terrible up until the fact that they get killed. So it's mainly about that ethics is the biggest part of it. And people oftentimes don't like the word vegan because it gives them, I'm not really up to date on exactly what happened to give people a bad idea of the word vegan or veganism, but I know that it definitely tends to not give people the best first impression of what it means, or even if they know what veganism means.
We can wrap it up there if we want.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in and talking to everyone. I hope to see you guys again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.